Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today we're going to be looking at MKDWELL Tech. So you shared some information on this automotive electronics company based in Taiwan, and we want to really unpack what's going on here.
Absolutely, and we have a lot of information on them. We have information on their business model, what they make, who they sell to, their recent stock performance, key financial health indicators, potential red flags, strengths, a snapshot of the overall market sentiment and where they fit in the competitive landscape, and a peek into the future at possible catalysts and risks.
Sounds good.
We also have some recent news updates like funding announcements and a share offering, along with a really in-depth due diligence report with a more detailed financial analysis.
Nice.
Okay.
So for our listeners who want to really understand this but don't want to be overwhelmed by information, we're going to synthesize this and try to pull out those key takeaways in the aha moment.
I love those aha moments.
Yeah, those are fun. So let's start at the very beginning.
Okay.
Let's look at MKDWELL Tech's business. What do they make?
So MKDWELL Tech is based in Taiwan and focuses on automotive electronics.
Okay.
And their product portfolio is really quite diverse.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're involved in intelligent RV control systems, LiDAR sensors, intelligent container control systems, vehicle seat control systems, telematics, boxes, wireless chargers, and even some refitted products.
Okay, so they're not just like focusing on just one specific type of vehicle.
That's right.
Okay.
Their products cater to various vehicle types: passenger cars, modified commercial vehicles, RVs, logistics vehicles.
Interesting.
And, you know, that entry into those niche areas like the RV control systems is pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so their product portfolio is pretty diverse. Let's move on to their recent stock performance.
Right.
From what I hear, it's been
volatile.
A little bit of a roller coaster.
A little bit, yeah. So just looking at the short term, the stock has declined by nearly 30% just in the past week alone.
Oh, wow.
And if we extend that timeline to the past 3 months, the decline is even more pronounced, like around 71%.
Yikes.
And then if we zoom out even further and consider the one-year picture, we see a dramatic drop of approximately 97.5%.
Oh my gosh.
This significant underperformance compared to the U.S. auto components industry and just the general market really stands out.
Yeah.
It suggests that there might be some underlying issues that are specific to the company.
Makes you think.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at their financial health and see if that can shed some light on what's going on with the stock.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So over the last 12 months, their revenue has been approximately $3.67 million.
Okay.
But during that same period, they reported a net loss of about $1.59 million, resulting in a negative earnings per share of negative 0.082.
Not good.
Not great.
Okay, so they're not making money and their stock is plummeting.
Yeah. Right. And on top of that, they have a really high debt-to-equity ratio.
Wow, no.
Over 1,800%.
Whoa, hold on. Explain that one.
Sure. So a high debt-to-equity ratio means they are relying more on borrowed money than investments from shareholders to finance their operations.
Gotcha.
It's like using a credit card to pay your bills instead of using your savings.
Okay, I'm following you.
And this can put a company at a higher financial risk because they have to pay back those loans with interest.
Yeah. And if they're already losing money,
it makes it that much harder.
Yeah, this is making me nervous.
Yeah, it's not a great sign.
Okay, so I'm looking through this information, and one thing that really stands out to me is there seems to be a pretty big difference in the reported revenue figures.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So, like, the detailed analysis we have says their current revenue is $0.
Yeah.
But we just talked about how their trailing 12-month revenue is over $3 million.
Right.
So what's going on there?
That's a big question mark.
Yeah, that's a huge red flag for me.
Yeah, and it could be a sign of a few things, maybe a sudden and sharp drop in their main business, maybe a change in how they're accounting for their income.
Okay, and then another thing I'm noticing is the debt-to-equity ratio that we talked about also seems to have different numbers reported.
You're right. The more detailed report puts the debt-to-equity ratio at about 20.
20.
Yeah, and it also mentions a negative return on equity of over 220%.
Wow.
Now, these numbers are definitely different from that 1,800% we talked about earlier, but they still paint a picture of a company that's using a lot of debt and not getting a good return on the money that shareholders have invested.
Right. But even with all this negative stuff, there was something about them having a positive net income in 2023.
You have a good eye for detail.
Thanks.
It's true. In 2023, they did report a net income of a little over $52,000, which is a big change from a loss the year before.
Okay, so that sounds like a good thing, right?
It does, but when you consider that current revenue number of $0, it makes you wonder if that profit was just a one-time thing and not something they can keep doing.
Okay, so lots of mixed signals here.
Definitely.
Let's go back to those red flags and strengths we talked about earlier
Right.
and see how all this new information affects them.
So that high debt-to-equity ratio, regardless of the exact number, is still a big worry. It means they're taking a lot of financial risk.
Right.
And that consistent negative net income and earnings per share over the past year also tells us they're struggling to make a profit. And obviously, the huge drop in their stock price and the fact that it keeps jumping around doesn't make investors feel very confident.
This is true.
But we did talk about some potential strengths.
Yeah.
Like that diverse product portfolio and their focus on niche markets.
Right.
Those are still potential advantages, but the big question is, are they strong enough to pull them out of this financial mess?
Right. It's like they have good ideas, but they're not making money from them.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's shift gears and talk about some recent news about MKDWELL Tech.
Okay.
And how it might be affecting how the market sees them.
So in March of 2025, they announced 2 pretty big funding rounds, totaling almost $12 million.
That sounds promising.
Yeah, it could be a good thing, but it's important to look at the whole picture.
Okay, what else is going on?
They also filed to sell up to 100 million ordinary shares.
What does that mean?
This could lead to what we call share dilution, meaning each existing share would represent a smaller piece of the company's ownership.
So the new funding could help in the short term, but it could also make things worse for the people who already own shares.
Right, because their shares would be worth less.
Got it, okay. What else is new?
Well, back in July of 2024, they completed a business combination with Cetus Capital Acquisition Corp., which led to them being listed on the Nasdaq Q.
Oh, okay.
But even after getting on the Nasdaq Q, their stock prices continued to be all over the place.
Really?
Yeah, with some significant drops both in the past day and for the year so far.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Okay, what about analysts? Are they saying anything about MKDWELL Tech?
It's interesting. There actually don't seem to be any analyst estimates available right now.
Oh.
And this lack of professional analysis can actually make the market more uncertain.
Interesting.
Because investors don't have those expert opinions to guide them.
Okay, so MKDWELL Tech is in this very competitive automotive electronics industry.
Right.
How do they stack up against everyone else?
So they're up against some big names like Continental AG and Bosch Group.
Yeah.
And those companies have a lot of advantages, like they're much bigger, they have more money, and they've been around for a long time.
Right.
So while MKDWELL's focus on those niche markets could help them stand out, they also need to find a way to compete with those giants.
Okay. And the automotive industry is going through a lot of changes right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
With electric vehicles and autonomous driving and all that.
Huge changes.
So how might that affect MKDWELL?
So the shift towards electric and self-driving vehicles is creating both big opportunities and challenges for every company in the industry, including MKDWELL. They're going to have to adjust their products and their strategies to keep up with all these changes.
Okay, so big picture.
Yeah.
What are some good things that could happen for MKDWELL Tech?
Okay, so some things that could really boost them would be if they launch some new and exciting products, especially in those growing areas like driver assistance systems or even that specialized RV technology.
Makes sense.
And of course, they need to start making a profit again.
Right.
If their future financial reports show that they've turned things around, that would be huge.
Yeah.
But there are also some big risks to consider, like possible changes in government regulations. The overall health of the economy could affect how many people buy cars.
Right.
And of course, there's that financial instability we talked about.
Yeah, that's still a major concern.
And one more thing.
Okay.
They recently had to move their listing from the main Nasdaq global market to the Nasdaq capital market.
Why?
Because they weren't meeting all the requirements of the main market. Yeah. This type of move often suggests that a company is having trouble meeting the standards of the exchange.
Okay.
And that can make investors even more hesitant.
Okay, so at the beginning we said that things weren't looking so good.
Right.
And after looking at all this information, does that assessment still hold true?
Unfortunately, I think it does.
Okay.
Those financial problems, the volatility of the stock, their underperformance compared to the rest of the market, those are all still major concerns.
Yeah.
The recent funding rounds are a good sign. They're trying to fix things.
Yeah.
But that plan to sell more shares could hurt the people who already own shares.
Right.
And that discrepancy in the revenue reports, that's a big red flag for me.
Yeah, it's hard to ignore that.
The fact that one report says they have zero revenue right now, that's a really worrying sign. And it makes you wonder if they're even still operating.
Right. And what about the fact that they had a profit in 2023?
Yeah.
But now it seems like they're not making any money.
It's a head-scratcher for sure. That profit in 2023 might have been a one-off thing, maybe due to some unique circumstances that are no longer in play.
Okay, so what's the bottom line here?
Well, looking at all this information, MKDWELL Tech is a really complex case.
Okay.
On the one hand, they have this diverse range of products in sectors with growth potential. But on the other hand, their financial indicators are flashing some serious warning signs, like high debt, negative earnings, and that huge drop in stock value.
Right.
Their efforts to get more funding show that they're actively trying to address their capital needs. But the conflicting revenue reports and the ongoing high volatility point to a situation with significant risk.
For sure.
So for our listeners out there, I hope this breakdown has given you a better understanding of the key things to consider without bogging you down with too much detail.
I hope so.
We've seen that they have some potential strengths, but they're also facing some really tough financial challenges. And all those recent developments, they bring both possibilities and more uncertainty into the equation. So what stood out to you the most from this overview? What further questions do you have about MKDWELL's future or about the automotive electronics industry as a whole? This is definitely a situation where you would want to dig deeper into their financial statements and try to understand the reasons behind those conflicting revenue reports before making any investment decisions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, if you found this insightful, please subscribe, like, and comment.
Yes.
We always appreciate your feedback, and we look forward to our next deep dive together.
See you then.